Hi, it's Dr. Dreyer, founder of the 𝗪𝗆𝗀𝗀𝗁 University, where our mission is to help you to create, to grow, to protect, and to enjoy your wealth. And welcome to this webinar called A Property the Road to Riches, how to get at least 55% compounded growth on your property investments over the next 5 years, even if you've never invested in property before. And there's a very specific reason why I'm saying specifically 55%. And this is what you're going to discover during this webinar, why 55% is so important. So the question that I'd like to start off with is, do you really want to get 55%? I mean, if you look at unit trust and other investments, then it's going to be very difficult to get to 20%. Now, I'm saying that you're going to get 55%. And the question is, do you really want it? Because if you don't want it, then this webinar is definitely not for you. The second question, before we really start, is, what's your reason? Why do you really want to invest in property? Because a little bit later on, that reason is going to become vital, because unless we know why we want to invest in property, well, it's not going to work for us. Now, before we start, I'd like to make a disclaimer. I'm not a guru, I'm not an expert, I'm not a financial planner, I'm not a legal expert in any way, shape or form. And what I'm about to share with you is what I've done and what has worked for us. So I'm also going to tell you a little story about myself, and I'm going to make huge claims. All of that can be verified by auditors, but it's not to say that you'll be able to do it, because in property, like anything else, is going to depend on a lot of things, your results that you're going to get. And the main thing, I think, is what's your competency level. And if you've got the same competency level that I've got and the same drive, I'm sure that you'll be outperform me. This is why I'm here. And the success of a teacher is if his students can outperform him. So let's go for it. Perhaps, maybe you do not know me, a very quick introduction about myself and what I've done. I'm a wealth creator, I'm a mentor, I'm a teacher, I'm a coach, I'm a business owner, a property investor, I'm the creator of the Property Pro investment strategy, I'm a family man, and I retired at 37. We like to travel, and I can say that I live in a state of financial freedom because of what I'm about to teach you today, the strategy to invest in property that I've used since 1987. So there are different ways that you can invest in property and different classes of property, like residential property, freestanding or full title, sectional title flats, multifamily, duplexes, simplexes. I think that you're getting the drift. And you can also do and apply this strategy that you're about to learn when you want to invest in office buildings, retail properties, industrial properties, hotels, bed and breakfasts, self-storage units. But you can also apply it very effectively if you already use a strategy. So strategies like, buy to let, rent to own, rent to rent, property development, speculation, a lot of people call it flipping, renovation to sell or rent, PIPs, that stands for property in possession. If you want to invest through consortiums, stokvels, syndication, venture capital, distressed property, real estate investment, trust, those REITs, off-plan properties, and even if you want to start a crowd fund with properties. The best part, I think, about this is that you are not limited to South Africa, because we've got students in 49 countries. Countries like the USA, Canada, the United Kingdom, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and so forth. So the question that I've asked right in the beginning is, why do you want to invest in property? Now, the bottom line is to get enough growth on your investment to secure financial freedom. If you're really going to have a look at this, this is the bottom line. Because of this investment strategy that I'm about to share with you, I became a millionaire in my early 30s. Now, just for fun, I'm 61 at this stage. So in my early 30s, R1 million then and R1 million now is not the same million. So at the 7% inflation, we can easily say that it's about 8 million in today's value. Because of this, I retired at 37. In other words, we were financially free. And as a part of the challenge and to prove that the Property Pro strategy works in any market conditions, I bought 49 properties in 94 days without costing me a cent out of my own pocket by simply applying this strategy. So I really want you to pay attention. I think that I can safely say that I know the true meaning of financial freedom because I'm living it for the last 24 years. Now, I don't know what your definition for success is, or even if financial freedom is really important to you. But I can tell you right here and now that the one thing that stands between you and a life of abundance, of happiness, of success, and financial freedom, and the one thing that stands between the life that you deserve and perhaps where you're right now, is how hard your money is working for you. And always, how hard your money is working for you is always expressed as growth. So unless you get the right growth on your investment, you will never be financially free. And the investment strategy that you follow will determine the growth on your investment. So perhaps I'd like to bring something to your attention, and that is that not all investment strategies are the same. So let's look at some of the best results of different conventional investments that we could do and make over the last 10 years. So I found this on MoneyWeb, and this is actually a very good summary of what we could do with our money over the last 10 years. So let's dive a little bit into it. The first strategy is the JSE All-Share Index. The All-Share Index showed as an annual return of 10.41% for the last 10 years. Now, take into consideration, this is actually the benchmark that the unit trust managers uses in order to show how good they are. But also take note that 96% of these fund managers over a 10-year period consistently could not outperform this index. Okay, so I really want to focus your attention on this, because you're going to see a little bit later why 55% is so important, and then secondly, why so few people can actually retire. The second one that I want to bring to your attention is the local bond market, and they reckon that this grew by 8.62%. And by the way, they say it done reasonably well, simply compared to the inflation, which is true. The third strategy is the JSE SA listed property index, or the REITs, right? And this index grew by 14.79%. Now, there's something that I really want you to pay attention on. This is over the last 10 years. We're in 2018. So this is from 2008. Now, I don't know if you remember, but in 2008, the property bubble burst in America, and it spilled over throughout the world, including South Africa. In 2008, to safeguard themselves, they brought in the new Credit Act, and I'm sure that you know that suddenly because of that, you could not buy property as freely as before. And at that point in time, 2008, 9, 10, 11, and up to 12, all the experts would advise you to stay out of the property market. During those days, I taught my students and I said to them, the best thing that you can do is apply this strategy, because you're going to outperform anything else. And the result of that is that now, suddenly all the experts say, but you should have invested in property. Now, that should have is not going to help you if you did not invest at that stage. There's also something else that I'd like to bring to your attention, and that is that even in your pension fund and provident fund and your unit trust portfolio that you've set yourself up, I can almost guarantee you that a very small portion of that money that went into these funds actually went into a balance, a fund in terms of property. So very few people, well, with hindsight, everything is okay, but very few people would actually do this. Now, the best of these funds, all these funds for this specific period, grew at 17.75%. Now, what are the results? Now, I've just showed you the results because it seems like 17.75% are the results. But I found that very few people actually understand what it means. So let's take a practical example. If you invest 1,000 Rand per month for the next 10 years, and we can repeat the same growth that we've done over the last 10 years, then what is the results going to be? So if your investment grew by the inflation rate, your 1,000 Rand for 10 years, in 10 years' time, you will have 163,000 Rand, just a little bit more than 163,000 Rand. The JSE All-Share, that 1,000 Rand at 10.41 is going to give you 209,000. And if we take the best fund, the 𝗪𝗆 Property Fund, then that fund at 17.75 would give you 326,134 Rand. Now, as you can see, This is a phenomenal growth if you could get 17%, 17.75%, simply because 17.75 is almost 100% more. Well, it's 100% more than the inflation rate. And they will tell you that if after tax you can beat the inflation rate in terms of a real growth, then you are in the pound seats. So by following the right strategy, in other words, the best fund, 17.75%, you would get 100% growth compared to the inflation rate. In other words, real return on your investment. Now, if this is so great, then why is it that the majority of people, which I'll show you a little bit later on, will not be financially free or independent at the age of 60? Well, the truth is, the only reason is that they do not get enough growth on their investment. Now, why on earth do I say this? Let's compare this result in terms of the rands and the growth that we're going to get. Let's compare that to a real life result. Let's assume that you are getting 20,000 Rand per month, right? And out of that 20,000 Rand, we have to live. In other words, we have to pay everything that we have to pay. And for argument's sake, just say that we've got 1,000 Rand. So the 1,000 Rand, we call that a surplus, that's our investment. And we want to basically replace our 20,000 Rand active income, the income that we work for, with a passive income from our property portfolio or any portfolio, right, within the next 10 years. So now let's go back to the drawing board and see what the results will be on the conventional investments. So let's have a look. If the inflation rate is at 6%, we're going to have a future value, in other words 10 years from now, at 163,879 Rand. But what does it mean in today's value? Because we do not understand the future value of money. So that timeline value of money, we need to bring that back in today's value, because we can understand in today how much we are going to get with the money that we've got available. Now, if we want to index this with inflation, depending on our age and stuff like that, then that simply means if I'm going to buy a retirement annuity or immediate annuity or lifetime annuity, for that more or less 91,000 Rand, I'm going to get anything between 381 and approximately 450 Rands per month. Now, remember, I need 20,000 Rand. So if we look at the best fund, the 17.75%, the future value of that is 326,000 Rand. But if we take the inflation at 6%, it simply means the present value, the value that I will have in today's value, will be 182,111 Rand. And that's going to give me a pension that will be linked with inflation of approximately 758 to approximately 1,400 Rand. But remember, we need 20,000 Rand per month. So I hope that you can see that we are way off. So the best fund at 1,000 Rand is not going to give you near enough to be able to retire, taking your standard of living into consideration. Now, let me ask you a question. What if there's a strategy where you can get 55% growth on your 1,000 Rand per month investment? Let's have a look at this. So we see that if we can grow 1,000 Rand at 55% in 10 years' time, we're going to have 4.7 million. In today's value at 6%, that boils down to 2.6 million Rand. And that is going to give us, at a 10% cap rate, a 21,800 Rand per month pension or rental income that is going to be linked with inflation. I hope that you can see the magic of the growth on your surplus. In other words, that portion that you've got available for investment, what the outcome of that is going to be. And it's for that reason that all we need to do is to check what's the growth that we're going to get on our investment. And we cannot give our money away to someone else to control it, because then we're taking all the risk. Plus, we've got no control over the growth whatsoever. Now, at the same time, I'd like to give you almost like a warning, and that is that not all properties are equal, because there's this myth out there that property is always a good investment. And I'm not going to show you today, but I can prove to you that property will be, for 99% of the people out there that invest in property in their house, thinking that their house is a great investment, that it's one of the worst investments that you can ever make. So not all property investments are great investments. So it's the right property investment strategy that is what's going to make your dreams come true. A property is just a numbers game. And if you follow the right strategy, then it's easy. If you follow the wrong strategy, then it's going to be impossible. So what are your dreams? What's your purpose? Why on earth do you want to invest in property? I refer back to the question that I've asked right in the beginning. Why do you want to invest in property? I started investing in property because I wanted to be financially free before the age of 40. And because of property, we could do it at the age of 37. Now, I battle, of course, with this question for a very, very long time, and that is, what is my purpose? But in 1982, I actually read a book by 𝗪𝗏𝗯𝗀𝗀, The Greatest Secret in the World. And in one verse, in scroll 4, he actually says that I'm not on this earth by chance, I'm here for a purpose. And that purpose is not to shrink into a grain of sand, but to grow into a mountain. And henceforth, I'll apply all my efforts to become the highest mountain of them all. And I will strain my potential until it cries for mercy. And that night, by candlelight, I realized that our goal here on earth is to become the best me that I can be, and the best you that you can be. That is our goal. And to realize our full potential and to live in a life of abundance. And the only way to do that, because if I want to strain my potential, I have to put in the time and the effort and get my mindsets and belief systems right and learn the skills in order to become the best me that I can be. So I started on this journey, but I kept on suffering until I understood a critical lesson. So from 82 to 87, nothing worked out. I knew what I had to do. I tried to learn the skills, but I learned the wrong skills in the wrong strategy. So I understood that I was busy becoming a certified financial planner, but I could see that this is not working. And once I got the degree, I realized that this was a really waste of time, because I barked up on the wrong tree. So you cannot be the best you unless you are free. And the first step to freedom is to become financially free. So the question then is, but why is financial freedom so critical if you want to become the best version of yourself? And why will so few people become the best that they can be? Now, for most people, because they do not want to take responsibility, and the only reason why they don't want to take responsibility is because of this belief system that we have to trust the experts and that we cannot do it. Because of that, and because they do not want to take the hard road. You know, they are driven by security and by comfort. So yet the riskiest thing that you can ever do is not to live up to your fullest potential, or not to seek out your best reality. Every single person should strive to be financially free. Now, please don't get me wrong. It's not about the bragging right. It's not about the money. It's not even about the incredible lifestyle that you'll have. It's about being able to live your truest version of yourself. To live in a world where you own your identity and have the freedom of choice. Now, this freedom to most people is really scary, because we must answer this question. Who will I become when I can truly be myself? When there are no limitations. And when I'm living a world of abundance. This really is a scary question to ask, because it means that you have to face yourself and your reality, your purpose. Why? Because the only way that you can live out your vision and purpose in life is to become the best person that you need to be. Now, I know that some will say, honest, but I do not have a purpose. And my question to you is, really? Because, you see, we do not want to accept the responsibility that comes with learning the skills to become the best that we can be and how to handle our investments ourselves. Becoming the truest version of yourself is the first reason to become financially free. And the second is that it will allow you to truly understand why you were born. So when you have true freedom, you finally understand what you're most passionate about and what impact you can make and want to make in this world. It's impossible to truly know yourself when you're stressing over the day-to-day stuff, like you're confronted with questions like, how am I going to pay my bills? Or where will I find more clients to make a profit in my business, if you're running a business? Or when are they going to fire me because of the bad economy if you're working for a boss? Or how will I be able to retire one day knowing that my pension fund and provident fund is not growing the way that it's supposed to grow? Or where will I find the money to put my children through school or university? Now, the only way to discover your purpose is basically to elevate yourself to a higher level of understanding of yourself. And the best way to do this is to have a near limitless level of freedom. This freedom, no doubt, is costly. But, here's the truth. Having passive income from my property portfolio has given me the time, the freedom, the fun, the fulfillment and the happiness that I never ever thought would be possible. It allows me to truly do what I want in life, to be happy, to be free, and I think most importantly, to make an impact. Because I'm teaching this since 2002, and the results that I'm getting and seeing with my students are phenomenal. Now, my definition of freedom is basically to do what I want, when I want, where I want, how I want, with who I want, without worrying about money. Now, whatever your definition for success is, I believe that the end result is always the same. When you are able to tap into this higher level of success, this is where magic is going to happen. And this is really what I want for you. Because the best version of you is not connected to money at all. Your best self surfaces when you no longer care about money. It's about becoming the best that you can be. At least this is my dream. And I know that since you're watching this presentation, you too have a dream. A vision for your life that includes having a thriving investment portfolio that empowers you, that gives you financial and lifestyle control. An investment that gives you the time and the freedom to do what you want when you want without worrying about money. An investment that allows you to do your part in making a massive impact in the world. However, what is the reality? I found this in MoneyWeb. And quickly, I'm going to summarize that. In South Africa, currently, there's about 4.4 million people over the age of 60. 3,630,000 of those people receives a grant. That is approximately 1,600 Rand per month. That simply means that there are 740,000 people that do not receive a grant simply because they have enough pension, or they've still got an income, or they are still working, or of course both. A lot of people is still working, although they are receiving some form of a pension. Now, let's take the 740,000 people. If we look at those people that get less than 4,000 Rand per month, then 392,200 out of these people will receive less than 4,000 Rand per month. These are the people that do not receive a grant. In other words, 8.91%. So if we add this to the 3,630,000 people, we can see that 92% of South Africans over the age of 60 will not receive a pension of more than 4,000 Rand. This, I think, is scary and frightening. Now, if we take the benchmark at only 25,000 Rand, then only 0.24% of all South Africans, either through their work, through their rental income, or through their pension, or a combination of these, will receive more. This is, by the way, after tax, of 25,000 Rand per month. Now, the question then is, but why on earth will most people retire poor if we take 25,000 Rand or below as poor? It's simply because we are confoculated. And my definition for confoculated is simply a mental state of mind when you do not know that you don't know what you are supposed to know. Now, what is Warren Buffett's definition of risk? Basically, he says risk comes from not knowing what you're doing. And I'm telling you that if you invest in conventional investments, you do not know what you are doing, because you've got no control over the risk and you've got no control over the growth, and you trust a person that him or herself do not know how to become financially free. They know how to sell products of the different financial institutions. Now, what on earth is the main reason for confoculated? Well, the main reason is they base their investment decisions on the wrong strategy, like pension funds, provident funds, retirement annuities, unit trust, shares, and they think that by listening to experts that they're going to become free. Now, what if there's a strategy, a formula, or a method, or a recipe, or a blueprint that once learned could give you that investment, that could alter the future course of your life, that could radically transform your finances, your lifestyle, and your ability to control and set the course of your own life? How precious would that strategy be? Well, I know how precious, because I have such a strategy. And today I want you to have it too. The strategy that I'm talking about is a Property Pro investment strategy. Now, let's look at the outcome. I'm not going to take you through the strategy itself, but let's look at the outcome, because the results here at the Wealth Creators University, it's only the results that matter. So let's look at some of the results. If we say that we need 55% growth on our investment and we apply the Property Pro investment system, then these are some of the outcomes. Now, these outcomes were from where I help people in live workshops and seminars in order to get a better growth on the investments. So let's have a look at some of these investments. So as you can see, there's a 74.58%, a 58.27%, and then there's an infinite. The infinite simply means it's a free property. That's the way that I bought my first property way back in 1987. And that is for the first time that I discover that you can actually get properties 100% for free. On condition, of course, that you've got the competencies. Then there's a 93.81 and an 84%. And this is just on this page. And of course, we can continue. And there's a lot more examples. There are actually hundreds of these examples that I can show you. So the Property Pro investment system is simply a revolutionary property investment strategy that ensures that you get the growth on your investment that will give you financial freedom. And you can apply this strategy if you've never ever invested in property before, and even if you're not a financial guru, and even if you do not know anything about math or how to do financial calculations. Or of course, even if you're a seasoned property investor already. Simply by following the Property Pro investment strategy, your life as an investor will be completely different, because the Property Pro investment strategy gives you the power to turn monthly investments into a passive income for generations to come. It takes away the emotional ups and downs of conventional investments like unit trust, the share market, retirement annuities, pension funds, provident funds, and fixed deposits, where the market always performs worse than what you need in order to become financially free. The property investment strategy will give you the joy and the consistent passive income that I know that you desperately want and are capable of enjoying. I want you to picture this for just a couple of seconds about what things would be like for you and for your family when you receive passive income. Income that you did not work for, but income that your tenants are paying month in and month out, year in and year out. Imagine logging onto the internet from anywhere in the world, and at the end of the month you see a new stream of income, passive income, new income that you did not work for, and it just continues to come in month after month, year after year. I've been doing this now for the last 24 years. You'd feel amazing and confident knowing that you finally arrived. And this is what this presentation is about. And this is what the Property Pro investment strategy can do for you. You see, when you've got a passive income stream from property that replaces your current job income, and I'm saying job simply because I see that a lot of so-called professional people, they say, I've got a business. But if you really look at it, you're going to find that they are working in their business, for their business, and they are selling their time. And time is the most precious resource that we've got. So the moment that happens, where you start getting the passive income, it completely changes everything. Because when you're getting enough passive income, every other part of your life simply becomes easy. Steady passive income gives you the cash flow to afford your standard of living. It gives you the cash flow to live your life the way that you want to live it. To do what you want, when you want, how you want, where you want, without worrying about where the next paycheck is going to come from. So basically the bottom line is this: it gives you peace of mind. To know that you can spend all of your money this month on the lifestyle that you want, because next month the next paycheck will be there that you can use to experience an amazing lifestyle. And all of this will be possible simply by following the right property investment strategy that will give you the right growth on the right investment, because without the right growth on your investment, nothing else matters. Eventually, without the right growth, you will never be in a position to be financially free. And then life is a constant struggle to work harder, and then to give basically your hard-earned savings to a flawed system that was designed never to help you to get rich, but to line their own pockets. To battle with money and never having enough is definitely not the existence that you deserve. It is not what you were dreaming of when you first started to invest. And yet, sadly, That's exactly what most average investors experience day in and day out in their lives. Here's the thing. The problem for most isn't that they're not properly using the common investment methods and strategies. The problem is that they are using the common investment modules and strategies. They have never been taught the foundation of truly effective investing. So to answer their problem is actually very simple. The answer is to learn and to use a proven, reliable and a predictable process. And the one thing that I see that very few people get is that we're not born to know how to do property or how to do business. It's something that we have to learn. And we need to learn that is going to give us the growth that we need without taking any more risk. Growth that is reliable, growth that is predictable, and with the consistency that you can bank on. I want you to think about it. If nothing changes in your investment and you continue doing the same thing that you've been doing, then nothing is going to change the end result. This strategy works worldwide. It makes me think of Brendan, one of my students. Here he's with his family, who's currently managing a property portfolio of more than $154 million in the USA. And who only 8 years ago started with his property investments. And where he would be like today if he hadn't made the decision to do things differently and to learn how to use a Property Pro investment system. If he hadn't made the decision to step out of the average and into that bigger vision for himself. A vision of a bigger income, a vision for a bigger and a better lifestyle, for a bigger impact and for financial freedom. So here's the question, are you ready to play the bigger game? So I'm sure that if you're still with me in this webinar, that you are ready to play that bigger game. So if you're not happy with the lifestyle that you provide for your family, then you must change. You see, what we are talking about is not just having an effective investment strategy. The Property Pro investment strategy is about you having the most essential part of your investment set up in the right way and working to bring you that predictable growth. It's about you having the entire foundation of your financial dream in place, giving you the growth and the consistency that you need. So if you go through the Property Pro investment strategy and learn how to do it, you'll have full control over your life and over your future as well as your destiny. You'll have the freedom to invest only in properties that will help you to get to your dreams. So invest in your lifestyle and having the time and the freedom to enjoy your family and your friends. The autonomy to set your own schedule, work when you want, play when you want, pursue your passions when you want, and do what you want, with whom you want, where you want, without worrying about that paycheck. Because you'll have the knowledge and you'll have the skills to invest in literally more and more properties that will make your dreams come true. And you'll be able to do this in almost any market conditions, anytime that you'd like. You'll have the skills that no one can take away from you. Skills that you can use for the rest of your life to invest in any class of property, anywhere in the world. Or of course partner on a venture and know that you can make more money and get more growth on your investment whenever you want. So the question basically is this: are you ready to step into that extraordinary vision for your life and make it a reality?